Welcome back, students. Today we come with another topic, and that the name of the topic that is the double fertilization. Okay, so today we will learn this process, but in my previous class we discussed about the formation of embryo sac and by the process of mega gametogenesis. Okay, so if you don't see, just see the video first, then look at this video. So come to the topic now. First we have to understand what is fertilization. Okay, what is fertilization? Actually, in your textbook, or there are several types of books, they said that the fusion of male gamete and female gamete. What I say? The fusion of, suppose this is the male gamete, this is the male gamete, and there is a female gamete also, there is a female gamete also. So between this male gamete and female gamete, when they fuse together, that's are called as the fertilization. That's are called as the fertilization. But this concept has some problem. What are the problem? These are the common mistakes done by each and every students. So I will discuss one by one. So don't skip the video, just continue and see. So look at the steps. What are the steps of this fertilization? There is a diagram, that is the embryo sac. Okay, that is already formed by the mega gametogenesis. So fertilization takes place into this structure. So we can draw again this structure. Suppose this is the structure. This is the structure, and there are three nucleus. There are three nucleus in the uppermost part, and there are three nucleus also in the lowermost part, and there are two nucleus in the middle portion. What are the name? That is polar nucleus. That is actually egg. Okay, that is actually egg, and it is haploid in nature, and it is the female gamete. So it is the female gamete. Okay, now this embryo sac is present inside the ovary. So if we complete the full diagram, of a female reproductive part, that means this structure will be like this. Suppose this is the stigma portion, then it goes style portion. Okay, so this structure will be like this, and there are some layers also. Okay, there are some layers also. These layers are called as the integuments. These layers are called as the integuments. There are two layers, first layer and second layer. These layers are called as the integuments. So now what is happening during the fertilization? Suppose one pollen, okay, suppose one pollen that drop into the stigma portion. Okay, that pollen transfer into the stigma portion. Okay, by the process of pollination. Okay, what is pollination? I already discussed. So by the process of pollination, one pollen is transferred into the stigma. Then what is happening when the total environment condition or the total environmental condition will be suitable for this pollen, then this pollen will germinate. Okay, then this pollen will germinate, and it will create a tube like structure like this, and it will create a tube like structure like this. So this pollen will germinate, and it will create a tube like structure. That tube like structure is known as the pollen tube. Pollen tube. Pollen tube. Okay, this pollen tube will go through this style portion, and it will enter through this micropylar end. Okay, there are several pathways. Suppose we think that this pollen tube will enter into the embryo sac through this micropylar end. That means this portion, there is an opening. Okay, there is an opening, that is the micropylar end. So through this portion, this tube will enter. Okay, but we have to remember that during this time into the pollen tube, two male gametes are also formed. That means there are two male gametes that are already formed by the microgametogenesis. This process also described by me in my previous video. So during this process, that's are the male gametes. Okay, so that's male gametes are also formed. Now what is happening? Suppose this tube entered. Okay, this tube entered, and when it enter into this embryo sac, then these two male gametes also released into this embryo sac. Okay, so this is the situation. Now what is happening? This is one male gamete, that is second male gamete. Okay, so now what is happening? Now look, the next events. Suppose this is the structure. Remember, this is the structure. That is the egg. Okay, that is actually egg, and it is the female gamete, and that is also in between there are two polar nucleus, that is polar nucleus, that is also in the lowermost part there are three nucleus, that's are called as the antipodal cells, and that's are also in, and two male gametes are also released in this portion. Just remember the event, that is 1 and that is 2. Now what is happening? One male gamete will fuse with egg. So suppose this male gamete will fuse with this egg. So that is N and that is N. N and N, it will combine with each other and it will fuse with each other and it will form 2N. So number 1, fusion. Number 1, 1N, that is for egg. Suppose this is the egg, and 1 for male gamete, that is N for male gamete. Okay, that male gamete, number 1 male gamete. I will also give the number 1 male gamete, and it will form a 2N, that is called as the zygote. Okay, that is called as the zygote. So this male gamete has done the work. Now there is also another male gamete. Okay, so this male gamete will fuse with these two polar nucleus. That means into this polar nucleus there will be a 3 nucleus. There will be the 3 nucleus with, and they will combine with each other. Okay, these 3 nucleus also fuse with each other. So now 2 types of fertilization can be seen. So this is the first condition, and what is the second condition? Second condition is 1N plus another N plus another N. Okay, 1N, that's for one polar nucleus, that is polar nucleus. Second, another N, that is also polar nucleus, that is also a polar nucleus. And third N, that is the male gamete. So N and N, they will combine with each other, they will fuse with each other, and it will form the 3N, that is triploid. And this 3N nucleus is called as the endosperm nucleus. So that is endosperm nucleus. Okay, from where the endosperm will be produced. Now the question is that why we called it as the double fertilization. Now come to the main question, that why we called it as the double fertilization. Now look, so total 2 events have happened. What are they? just remember, okay, we'll remember this structure also. Suppose there is also a male gamete and there is also a male gamete, and they will combine with each other. That's the event happened till now. So now first thing, what is happening? This, that means the egg which is N plus male gamete which is N, and that's formed a 2N, that is called the zygote. Okay, that is formed the zygote. So this type of, this is the fertilization. In the first what I say, the fusion of male gamete and female gamete is called as the fertilization. The fusion of male gamete and female gamete is called as the fertilization. So this is fertilization, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. Okay, this is fertilization. So we can write it that it is the fertilization. But it has a particular name. What type of fertilization is it? It is the generative. It is called as the generative fertilization. It is called as the generative fertilization. Okay, so that means this is the generative fertilization. This fertilization is called as the generative fertilization. Now this is fertilization. Now the second fertilization, that means this fertilization, can I say it as the fertilization? Can I say it? Because there is only the involvement of male gamete, there is no female gamete. So how can I say that in the definition the fusion of male gamete and female gamete is called as the fertilization? So this is the problem actually. Okay, so this is also a fertilization, this is also a fertilization, but when we say that male gamete and female gamete, fusion between male gamete and female gamete is called the fertilization, that will be 100%, that will be not right actually, I think so. So there is a definition, modified definition, that's like this. Fertilization refers to the act or process of rendering fertile. If we say like this, then it will include the both events, first and second. What is this? What is the meaning of this? That fertilization refers to the act or process of the rendering fertile. That means actually the process of rendering fertile. This is also a process, this is also a process, and there are no inactive nucleus. They all are active. Okay, that means they are showing their fertility power. They are not inactive. If they are inactive, then we can call it that they are the infertile. Okay, but they are active, they are fused with each other. That means they are fertile and they are showing their fertility power. So this is the total process, and into this process this is also a one step and this is also a second step. That's why fertilization refers to the act. Act means the rule. Okay, rule or the process of rendering fertile. So they are showing the fertility power. Okay, so this is the appropriate, I think that will be appropriate. Now that is generative fertilization, and second is vegetative. Okay, vegetative fertilization. Vegetative fertilization means this fertilization, not this condition. This is the vegetative fertilization. That means one is polar nucleus, that is N. Second polar nucleus, that is also N. And there is another male gamete. There is another male gamete, that is also N. And it will create a 3N, that is endosperm nucleus. Now look, so the total, if we look around the total events or whole events, we can see that the fertilization takes place two times. One is generative fertilization and second one is vegetative fertilization. Okay, that's why we call it as the double fertilization. Double means two. So generative fertilization and vegetative fertilization, so there are the two types of fertilization. That's why we call it as the double fertilization. But these three nucleus, that means one polar nucleus, another polar nucleus, and another male gamete nucleus, when they fuse with each other and they form the endosperm nucleus, that is also 3N. 3 nucleus and it forms the 3N. Okay, that's why this type of fusion is called as the triple fusion. So this vegetative fertilization has another name. The name is triple fusion. Okay, so that means or triple fusion. Okay, so triple fusion means the vegetative fertilization. Why they are called as the triple fusion? Because there are the involvement of 3 nucleus and it also form the 3N, that means triploid endosperm. Okay, that's why we called it as the triple fusion. Fusion means combine with each other. Okay, so that's the topic. I think you should remember the points, what are the problems, actually the fertilization. So thank you for watching and please subscribe and like.